Good morning, my loves. I'm back with another family video. You know, this bugs me. Okay, all right. So, today I'm going to introduce you to the Blands and the Lemaires. So, my grandmother and grandfather on my mother's side were Lemaires. That was my mom's maiden name, Lemaire. There is a city in France called Lemay, and that's where they're from. It was sometimes German, sometimes French. So anyway, we're gonna get started on this a little bit. I did want to tell you, and I thought about this, I went to Beaumont High School, and we were the Royal Purples. And it's really funny because royal and purple color, but we were actually the Royal Purple Lions, and that never quite got out there. But there was a big statue of a lion in our school. So I graduated, okay. I wasn't the smartest, I wasn't the dumbest, so that was pretty good. And I was in the drill team whenever I was in school, like the high kickers. I was in that. That was fun. Sometimes a pain in the ass, but fun. And then, what else? High school was high school. It was, and I had the good sense to know that it was just for 4 years and it was going to be over, because I always felt the need to get out of there and go do something else. Okay, so that was pretty much my thoughts on high school. It was sort of like a pleasant prison. My mom and dad bought me a bicycle, and I rode my bike there, and it was far away. It was far away, but I loved doing it. That was a sense of freedom to me that was amazing. The whole time that I was a junior and a senior, I can't even describe to you what it felt like to be able to get on that bike and go to school, or get on that bike and go home, and be able to take a different route if I wanted to. I knew I had to get there in a specific amount of time. So that they let me do it was amazing, because my parents were very, very, very keep us close, so kudos to my parents for giving me that freedom to do that. All right, we're going to get started here. Now, this is from a big book that I have, and I'm going to be giving you pages from this book as I get them done. I started it, my aunt finished it. And so this is, there we go, Andrew Lemaire, Andre actually, and this is Ada Jane Bland right here. And they're pretty wealthy for a long time, bless their little hearts, huh? And they were in cattle. Now, there is, down at the beach, if you were to go to the left in a way that you can't go anymore, you can go to the right and it'll take you down to Crystal and all those places down there. Okay, well, that's, if you go to the left, that cattle was down there, and he was quite wealthy, and he was also a businessman of some sort of something or another. But I'll get a little bit more on that for you. But here they are in old age. They both died in 1953. And they lost their money because he made some bad investments and became just normal people, I suppose. But I don't really know much about this side of the family as far as stories go, but I do know a few stories. So let me turn this over. And this is my great-great-grandfather, John Bland, and that's his wife, my great-great-grandmother, yeah, and her name is Martha. So, and these are their kids. They had a lot of them. They had a bunch of them, didn't they? Boy, these people look severe. Now, you know why they don't smile on these things? Because they feel like if they're smiling, that it will invite demons in. Isn't that weird? That anybody would think that way about a photograph? But photographs are fairly new, so interesting, very, very interesting. The so this is kind of as far back as we've gotten, but like I said, I will make some books for you and send you this so that you can have this family history. My aunt did it. It's a big fat book, and it's very, very fun for us to know this. Now let me tell you some interesting stories. Okay, so here we have the same gentleman, and it's hard to see, I know, but he is a crosswalker, you know, an attendant who tells you to stop in the street and to let the children go past. And he was 86 at this time. Okay, he was 86. He died a couple of years later, I think. Not very far. Let me see here. Do I have a... Well, this was 1949, and he died in 53. Okay, so that's some of the people. Now, the interesting story about this guy is after he lost his money, he went to bed for like 9 years. 9 years. Okay, never got out of bed. I guess except to go to the bathroom. I can't imagine being patient with that. But I suppose that my great-great-grandmother was. She had her own issues, you know. She used to be able to go to the spas and places and sit in the restorative waters because they had money and they could do that. I looked it up the other day and I thought, why would someone spend 9 years in bed and then get up one day and be perfectly fine and go be a person who, you know, help children across the road? And it really boiled down to severe depression. It had to be that he had one life and suddenly he didn't. And he had a lot of money and suddenly he didn't. So that, of course, caused, I'm sure, some friction in that marriage. And again, I don't remember ever meeting these people. Well, I was born in 56, so I wouldn't have, yeah. Because I do remember my grandmother's father. I do remember him very barely. Okay, barely. But so he really must have gone through a period of, I suppose, you know, it's embarrassment. You know, a lot of people killed themselves whenever, back then, they jumped off like in the 20s, whenever everybody lost their money in the Great Depression. There were a lot of people who just jumped off bridges and just jumped off buildings. It was a horrible time. So his solution was to just go to bed. How they survived, I have absolutely no idea. No idea. So I'm going to have to ask my aunt. We're going there tomorrow to have a visit, and I need to find out a little bit more about that interesting story. Very interesting story. All right, so we woke up today to 43 degrees, and yesterday was 75. We went to watch Emmy do her barrel racing, and it was quite warm at that point in time. So it was truly, if you don't like the weather in Southeast Texas, wait 5 minutes, it's going to change. You know, truly, that's really how life is. So very interesting, very interesting way to live. We have been good. Your grandfather has had something happen to his eye, and well, actually, he had skin cancer, and so he had that removed, and then that turned into a little bit more exploratory thing. And down his face, he had to have like 24 micro stitches. He was quite. It was interesting to see. It kind of looks like somebody took him out, you know, in a fire. And but other than that, things are good. What else can I tell you? Oh, I do, and I know what I was going to tell you. All right, so I told stories on Brandon, and so I've got one on Kaylin. Kaylin wanted to drive since she was like 5 years old. I mean, there's no two ways about that. She'd have gotten in a car and driven if she could have. Anyway, so I think she's about 14 in this story. And Brandon had this truck, and there was a little bit of a problem or whatever, but Brandon was grounded from the truck. And so one night, Grandpa and I went someplace, and we came back, no truck. Oh, dearie me. So we thought, if he has taken this truck, he's in such trouble. So we go in the house, and there's a young woman there, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. And she is just looking at us like, uh-oh. And we said, where's Kaylin? And she said, well, and Scott said, did she take the truck? And she said, well, yeah. So Kaylin wanted to take this truck and go over this hump that you could, she really wasn't very far away, but she did not have a driver's license, so she wasn't supposed to be driving. And so she took that truck, and you had to get up to a certain speed. You had to go down, I think it's West Chance, but it may turn into a different street over there. So she wanted to go down there, and she wanted to go over that hump, number one, and see if she could get the truck airborne. But number two, every time you did it, if you did it at a certain speed, your stomach went, whoa. It was kind of like that. So we go, and I've got a good idea where she went. So I said, okay, let's go down here and let's go see. So we're over the hump, and we see these lights coming toward us. And so Grandpa starts flickering the lights, and she comes right up beside us and looks right at us. And then she floors it. It just goes as fast as she can. Like, man, if I can get over there before they get back, they won't know it was me. Okay. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? So it was very, very interesting story. So in the end, we had to hide the keys to the truck, number one. She got grounded too, and that was kind of an interesting thing. But it was very fascinating to have her look us right in the face and just all of a sudden floor it. I mean, she took out like something was after her father. So it was pretty funny. We laughed in the moment. But then by the time we got home, we had to be serious and all that good stuff. So it's, none of the kids were bad. None of your parents were bad. They just did stuff. And it was really pretty funny. Some of the stuff they did was funny, but we knew we had to take, or it would get worse. But it was pretty amazing, that little story there, that she just decided, oh, I'm just going to go and they'll never know who it was. So that's our story for today. Something I hate, I'm going to tell you this. Little Debbie has these pudding cakes. Oops, I did it wrong. Little Debbie has these pudding cakes out. They're so bad. And I love me some pudding with bananas, So I thought, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it out. It's no good. Anyway, I did an opinion video on that for other people, but I'm going to tell y'all too. So we have, our weather is strange lately. It really is. Like I said, we woke up at 43 this morning. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? It'll be 85 by the end of the week. So if you'll remember, the lot across from the house was full of pine trees. It is not full of pine trees anymore. We are absolutely 100% cutting down all the pine trees so it doesn't fall on the house. And that has been a big deal. One of the guys showed up with his truck, and it was so funny. It said Hillbilly Transport on it, and I thought, oh my goodness gracious. But let me tell you, those men knew how to fell a tree. They put that tree exactly where they said they were going to put that tree, and it was awesome. It was so awesome to watch it. Magnolia didn't like it at all. She thought it was awful. So when I realized they were going to pull the first one down, and Scott wasn't here, and so I said, oh, let's go look. So we went out on the front porch, and that tree, boom, the whole house shook, and Magnolia jumped like a foot off the ground. And she came right over to me, and for like an hour, she was right up against my leg. She was not going anywhere. Anywhere. She wasn't going anywhere. So it was really pretty funny. Well, you know I love you. Call each other, please. Text each other. Establish that relationship. This is why I'm doing this, because I want y'all to remember. I want y'all to remember. It helps my memory too. I've taken a little book with me now, and every time I do remember a funny story, I write down. That's how I actually got the one on Kaylin. Was your dad, your grandfather, and I were doing the sort of remember this, and so I was writing a few things down so I'd have a story to tell you. But it was really pretty funny. It really was funny. And a lot of this is for my memory too. I want to be able to look at this and say, okay, I know that's me, and this is a memory that I'm talking about, and so it's something that I wanted to do also for myself, because I am forgetting, and I am slowing down. Your grandfather's definitely slowing down. So it's been a very interesting period to watch my mom, sort of getting older, still sharp, but she can't walk as well, and she can't do a lot of the stuff. So I want to make sure that who I was, who we were, and what you meant to me. So that's the whole reason that I'm even doing these things. But it's very interesting as you get older, the things you do remember, the things you remember like wrong, or whenever you're talking about it with your siblings, each one sort of has a different viewpoint. So of course this is coming from my viewpoint of how things happen. All right, so that's, I guess, my truth. It's so funny whenever you're mad at somebody or you're having an argument with somebody and they just won't see things your way. It's just because they can't. They can only see things their way, their way, and their way to them is the truth. So that makes life hard sometimes. But goodness gracious, life is short, guys. Life is short, and for me, it's getting shorter. And you need to, don't wait to go do something. Don't wait to go see the Grand Canyon. Don't wait to go and look at the leaves. Don't wait to do anything you want to do. Don't wait, because there's never the perfect time. You're never going to have enough money. You get to the point where then you have kids and you just can't always do the things you want to do. So don't wait. You're all in a perfect position to do the things you want to do. Again, I love you so much, and I'll do another one next week. Bye, guys.